Welcome to the Bean Apple Podcast.
All right, what's up, Bean Apple fans? It's time for the Jets-Chiefs recap show from Week 8. It was pretty brutal, to say the least, but we're going to kind of dive into what it was and the outcome, the highlights, the lowlights, and what's happened since the game, which is a couple of eventful things. So I'm going to be running solo for this one, recapping our New York Jets. So let's dive into it. So I don't think any of us expected anything different than what the outcome was. Not a big surprise. Again, the Jets come out. They look like they've got some life. They looked competitive to start the game, and then quickly went downhill from there. So, and if with a grain of salt, right? It was 14-3 in the first quarter. The Chiefs walked down the field. The only thing that was positive is the Jets were moving the ball, right? We couldn't put anything in the end zone. As usual, it's now been I think 14 out of the last 16 quarters of play without a touchdown, which is disgusting. You've got to go back to you got to go back a couple weeks. What is it? 9 straight quarters, I believe, without a touchdown. So, not things are not going well, right? But I don't think I need to tell you that. So it's not looking promising. But let's talk about what happened in this. What is positive and what's negative. So a couple of good things that you could pull out of this game, right? 1 sack for only 5 yards against the Chiefs defense, which it isn't great, but still brings enough pressure. And as bad as the offensive line has been, they looked pretty good. They held the line. Sam was still pressured a lot. Like, don't get me wrong there, but the fact that they only gave up 1 sack for 5 yards, I'm taking the wins where I could get them, and that's a win. So the other side, we held the Kansas City running game, which is something I was worried about with Le'Veon Bell coming back. I was like, man, they're going to feature him a lot. They're going to feed him a lot. They're going to let him get a little bit of revenge. Well, not so much. They held Kansas City to 2.5 yards rushing in this game, which that's pretty damn good, especially for a team that Le'Veon Bell wanted to get in that end zone, something fierce. He wanted that, and we kept him from getting that. And like I said, small victories, right, guys? This isn't anything that you would normally be excited about or proud about or even talking about, but it's a small victory. So on the other side, let's talk about that's really all I've got. Let's talk about the receivers. So Denzel Mims' second game, again, looked pretty good. He had a beautiful catch down the sideline, went up over the cornerback, pulled that down to a 27-yard completion, but still ended the day 2 for 42. 2 catches. I mean, it's not what you want from your number one wide receiver, right? He shouldn't be thrust into the number one wide receiver position on this team, but circumstances being what they are, that's where he is. So 2 for 42, but he flashed, and I like the flashes, but he needs help, right? So the other side of that, Braxton Berrios, who I love him. He's quick, he's small, he's angry. He's like he's like a mini Wes Welker if we would just utilize him in such a manner. But 8 for 34, 8 catches for 34 yards. How do you have 8 catches and only have 34 yards on 11 targets? He was targeted heavy, came down with 8 of them. That's not bad, but only 34 yards. It's hard to wrap your mind around that. So, but you still like to see the 8 catches. That's promising. 8 on 11. You can't complain about that. This offense just can't get anything going. So, of course, 34 yards is fitting for what we've got. So, but yeah, Sam, overall, another struggle. It was a tough day for him. He's only 133 yards, 18 for 30. So just another tough game, which is disappointing in so many levels, right? He had that stupid run with the head first dive and got blasted in the shoulder again. So we'll see what's to come with that. He had an MRI, so uh, doesn't sound like there's anything significant going on. It sounds like he'll be okay, but why, when you're returning from an injury, are you diving forward on a run? Like, just slide. What do you do? It's not like it was a close game and you had to squeak out an extra yard. Just slide. Stupid. Quinton Williams also hurt. We'll see what's going to happen with that. That's going to hurt. He's been playing great. He's been an awesome run stopper. He's been outstanding as an anchor in the middle of that defensive line this year. Yeah, and if we lose him, that's gonna add even more to what this team is dealing with. So more of an uphill battle. But so we'll continue on with Sam. This 133 yards is shocking, right? So 4.1 passing yard average against this Chiefs defense that wasn't doing anything really in the second half of this game. They put this game away. It was easy. They were averaging 9.5 yards per per completion, which that's fitting for a Chiefs offense. 9.5 yards. They're almost averaging a first down every completion compared to our 4.1. That's pathetic. It's just pathetic. But again, it is what it is. So last week, right, 4 yards in the second half of the game. This week, we took a big step forward, 26 yards in the second half. That's a nice way of putting it because it was actually 26 yards in, well, almost 26 yards in the third quarter. So they had 26 passing yards in the third quarter, 0 passing yards in the fourth quarter. Say that again, 0 passing yards in the fourth quarter when this game was over. That's garbage time. That's where Sam should have had 270 yards, 2 touchdowns, because this game was just done. Kansas City was done. And we couldn't do anything. 0 yards in the fourth quarter. 9 yards rushing in the fourth quarter. That's what we had. 5-yard scramble from Sam and a 6-yard rush for P. Ryan. That's it. In the fourth quarter. In garbage time. In a game that was done. And they couldn't do anything. So that shows you where we're at with this, right? So another thing that I've been talking about for a couple weeks now, especially since we got rid of Le'Veon Bell, is when is P. Ryan going to take over this running game? 8 carries for 27 yards. Frank Gore, again, 10 carries for 30 yards. Why is Frank Gore carrying the ball 10 times? Somebody explain this to me. This is a team going nowhere. This is a team that is building on youth, and we're running Frank Gore more than we're running our rookie. It makes no sense. P. Ryan, 8 for 27, 2 catches for 6 yards. Great. Frank Gore, no catches, but still had 10 carries. I don't get it. I don't know who Adam Gase owes money to that says run Frank Gore, because that's the only thing that makes sense. Because there's no other coach in football that would be playing a 37-year-old Frank Gore over a rookie that is out carrying him per touch. It just doesn't make sense. 2 games in a row that P. Ryan has had more yards per carry than Frank Gore has, but he keeps getting it. So that's bad. And then the other devastating thing is Chris Herndon doing nothing, 1 catch and a disgusting fumble. He's one hand in the ball as he's about to get hit. Instead of tucking it and going down, he's just got it in one arm, gets a helmet right to his bicep. The ball just comes flying right out. Not protecting it enough. He's not doing anything, which is, I think, for all of us, right? He was supposed to be the next Gronk from what he showed his rookie year. All of last year missed, right? I'm not telling you guys anything new there. And then this year he looks like he doesn't want to play football. Like he's just done. This is it. I'm hoping it's just the mentality of this year and what this team is. But for a third-year player to be playing this poorly off of his outstanding, promising rookie year makes no sense. It's so so just mind-boggling how he's playing like this. I don't really understand it. So he looks like he's all but done with this team as well. Everything is going downward, but Adam Gase is doing what Adam Gase needs to do, right? He keeps pushing us towards that first overall pick. He keeps winning game or winning games. He keeps winning by losing games for us. And I say keep going, Adam. Keep that focus. Keep heading down that path to the number one pick. Watch the Jets from maybe a high school somewhere in like the middle of nowhere, Texas, that needs a coach. I don't know, but that's what you're doing for us. So thank you. Keep it up, giving us something to hope for with a super talented potential quarterback. So God willing, keep going. I'm so scared that the Patriots are going to try and screw this up for us. You know, when the Patriots finally suck, they're still going to find a way to screw things up and probably lose a game next week. So, but to get back to this game, the Chiefs just looked disgusting. 416 yards for Patrick Mahomes, 5 touchdowns, which was just I didn't expect him to be in the game this long. The game was over with at halftime, and he was still in the game, chucking it downfield. So, but the running game did nothing. Travis Kelsey though was unstoppable. Just 109 yards, 8 catches, a touchdown. Tyreek Hill was just all over the field too. We couldn't do anything to stop any of their receivers. It was just eating at the buffet for them. It was disgusting. So, but I think we all expected it, and moving forward, that game is what it is. We all knew it was going to happen. So the Jets did not cover the 19.5 point spread on this game, which is, if I was betting, I would have bet that they didn't, which is hard to do. It really is hard to lose a game by this much every week, but that's what Adam Gase does. He's excellent at the double-digit losses and the 20-plus point losses. He's very, very good at those. So, if you got to be good at something, do it all the way, right? So let's talk about after the game. I talked about a little bit Sam's shoulder. He's looking like he should be good to play, and they'll probably play him because they've got to see something. You've got to get some durability out of this guy. He's just can't be just watching the game on the sidelines. You can't have a starting quarterback on your team that can't stay on the field. So you've got to see if he can play through some pain, play through some injuries. That's what football is, right? So if he can't play, what are you going to do at this point? He's going to be gone anyway. I'd say start fielding phone calls for him. See what you can get, because we're trading everybody away anyway, right? So Avery Williamson, after the game, just like Steve McClendon a couple weeks ago, out the door after the game. The framework for this trade was put together before the game started. Somehow these guys are still playing games. I don't understand why they're playing them when you have the framework for a trade put together, but traded him to the Steelers. So congratulations, Avery Williamson. I can't even imagine what that feels like to go from an 0-8 team. It's got to be like being at the gates of hell and somehow being plucked into heaven. Uh, it's just unbelievable. So congratulations, you played your way off the team and onto a winning team. Got a 5th-round pick in 2022, and Joe Douglas just keeps acquiring draft capital. So he's getting some good returns. From what I'm seeing from some other trades that went down, the returns that he's getting are better than a lot of these other guys that are moving around. So good on Douglas. You're looking at first pick in this year's draft, which is going to hopefully bring Trevor Lawrence to the Jets. You're looking at Seattle's first overall pick. You're looking at the first pick in the second round. Some nice blue chip prospects that are going to be coming in this year. And then you've got 18 picks over the next 2 years following that in 2022, 2021, 2022, or 2022, 2023. 18 picks in those 2 drafts combined. A lot of new talent that's going to be coming into the building over the next 3 years. So you've got to like that. You trade Sam. That's going to bring in another high pick. If you can trade anybody else, really, I would be surprised if Marcus May isn't gone as well this time tomorrow. That wouldn't shock me. He's coming into his last year. I don't know if the Jets are going to pay him. We're going to want to build around him. I don't know if he's worth what you would have to pay him to keep him. So if you could trade him and get a third round pick for him, do it. If you could trade Sam, get a second round pick for him, I say do it. And then you start building. I mean, we're losing players left and right, making it harder and harder to win every year. It's the same thing the Dolphins did last year. Just cleaning house, getting rid of everybody. They still managed to win a couple games, but they ended up with their quarterback that they wanted anyway. That's not going to happen for us because we don't have that kind of luck. So, uh, but I think we're on the right path. Patriots are going to give us a run for our money next week, and I'm hoping to God we don't win that game, just finish it out. I want to see Trevor Lawrence on this team next year. I want to see us heading in a direction instead of the sixth pick, the seventh pick, the 11th pick every year, and just adding mediocre players every year. And I think, for all Jets fans, we deserve better than what we've got. But Trevor Lawrence could be that Peyton Manning um type of player that really gives us something to build around to pull people in. So we'll see. We'll get together next week. We'll talk about the preview show. But until then, I wish you guys luck, and I will see you guys next time.